Yep.
All right, let's get into this S197 splitter install kit. This is using our new quick latch program here, so you can see the splitter comes off in just a couple seconds. And we're gonna go through the install. So first thing you're gonna do is start off with some T-nuts. These little guys here that will come in your kit, and they got the little spikes on it. You want to put them in with the spikes facing down and just give them a little tap with a hammer. This is not to set them in all the way. This is just so you guys can get them set a little bit, so that way when you flip it over, the T-nuts don't go flying all over the place. Okay, once your T-nuts are in, we're going to switch over to the lower latching bottom pylon. So you're going to need here, what is this guy? A 3/16 Allen wrench, a screwdriver. If we can get that to focus. Thank you, Mr. Screwdriver. There you go. And you're going to get these two bolts for the lower latch. This is going to actually going to be your striker. So you have your sex bolt, which is what it's called, I believe it, and your lower pylons. Now these pylons are going to have a small hole on the one side and a large hole on the other side. So they are different. They are going to be a left and right. So first thing you're going to do is take your sex bolt and shove it through the pylon that has the larger hole. It might take a little bit of force to get them in there. It is a very tight fit to try to get as much wiggle out of the splitter as we can get it. So you can see they're just kind of forcing it through. Now this is the only way it's held in, is through that hole there. Now on the other one, for the same reason, this is also going to be a tight fit, but you're going to take your little Allen head bolt and put it through. You might need to give it a little assistance like we are here. Once you get it rotated and pointed in directly, it should just kind of plop in. Yep, just like that. Now you're gonna line them up together. So you're gonna line up your, literally it's called a sex bolt, with your normal Allen head. You're gonna get it in there nice and tight. Now the sex bolt should bolt up flush against that lower pylon with the smaller hole, and then it'll be pretty much captured at that point. And do the same on the other side. This one had to get wiggled in a little as well. And once it's in, give yourself the screwdriver and the Allen, a little bit of an extra torque. If you wanted to do some Loctite at this point, that probably wouldn't be a bad idea. And your lower pylon is done. At this point, you're going to take that and put off to the side. You can see here that they're going to slide on those strikers. Now that's going to matter here in a little bit, and we'll show you guys what to do with that. But yeah, once that's done, put those off to the side. And we're going to now start working on installing the latches. So you can see we already have one that's pre-installed and all done, so we can kind of show you a finished project. What you're going to do is start off with your mid pylon plate. You're going to have your two latches, and you're going to have 4 M6 bolts. So you can see here that the latches on that plate that's already done are on the right side, and you're going to have to build the left side. So you do want it to be a mirror of the other pylon. You don't want them to be both on the same side. That's just going to make working the latches harder, because you're going to have to reach in from the wheel well to get the latches on one. But if you have them both facing opposing, then you can reach in through the kind of radiator opening in the front to get it open. So yeah, good little quick time here. And one thing to note, so you got your left and right there, but one thing to note, don't tighten them at this point. You can kind of see, there you go, give you the wag of the finger. That means don't tighten it. This is how you're going to set your final alignment, but you want everything put together. So go ahead and go back to your splitter, flip that guy over using those T-nuts we installed a minute ago. We're gonna now secure our sturdy boys, or the lower pylons, to the splitter. And this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna set your mid pylon in, clip the latches in, make sure it's all good and tight and latched up. And then take your 10mm socket and run those screws on home. Don't really have to pay too much attention to detail on this. You just want to make sure that everything fits. So we got a couple of screws tight, so they'll have everything still, and we're just gonna run those screws on home and tighten everything up. Now you can kind of see my left hand was holding a space, you see there, and pulling those brackets apart. You really want to have those pulled apart. That's how you're going to set the right spacing for the latches to fit. If you pull it apart well, click those guys in there, boom, everything will just clip right on in. Now we're going to go to the back part of the splitter, and you're going to hammer in some T-nuts for the same reason you hammered in the front ones, just to hold them still. You can see there, boom, we got all 5 in. Flip it back over, and we're ready to start putting that together with the front splitter. You see there, you should be able to see the T-nuts right through the bottom there. So we grab our front part of the splitter, lay it over. Now here's something to take note. You want to put the bolts facing, I guess you could say, down, so that way you can reach the nuts or the bolts from the bottom side of the car. This way, if you want to change your oil, or if you need to get to something underneath the car, you can just zip those 5 screws off, take that rear panel off. You won't necessarily need to take the splitter off, but you know. Okay, now we're going to start installing this to the bottom of the car. This you're going to need is a 1/4-inch drill bit. Pretty easy to find these drill bits. Anywhere home stores will have it. You're going to locate your upper pylon by those 2 little nubs on the very front, and those will match into the frame rail. And that's just going to tell you that you've got it in the right spot. So you're going to put your 2 nuts in and tighten them down. Once they're tightened down, take your drill bit in the front, and there's a little spot weld. You'll be able to see it through that hole and on the front, and then just drill it out. The little spot weld will be held back together with a nut and bolt. That's all provided by the kit. And now when you get on the bottom, we're going to attach our mid pylon. And you can see here we're going to be going to the 0-degree AOA setting. So this is where you set your AOA of the splitter. The front and rear holes will match. So if you have the front at 0, put the bolt in the back at the same hole. Everything's cantilevered to the back of the splitter, so that way the back of the splitter will stay at the same height. And this will allow you to change your AOA of the splitter. And you can see it's pretty normal. You can see my terribly hairy hands. I know I'm such a model, but that's going to be setting up your AOA on the splitter, and that's how it's set. So just match those holes front to rear, and you're going to be good to go. Now on the passenger side, it's the same exact steps. You'll see here better that the rear has its own bolt hole, and this is all existing bolt holes that are on the frame, except for the leading one. You might find some things that are in the way that might need to get relocated or something like that. If you do, let us know. We can usually make brackets or something like that to help your install go a little bit easier. And we like to get feedback from you guys if something's not going perfect to plan. And yeah, you can kind of see on there. Now we got our lower pylon on. Now is the point where we're looking to tighten those guys up. So get your lower pylon on, get your latches set, get everything set up, and once everything's on and tight, give it a little stand on there. So you should be able to jump on it. It should be able to hold way more than 250 pounds, which is what I'm testing it at there, and you'll be good to go. And that should be the end of the install. Now you do want to check your height. Now ride height will change. It'll change this height setting. Right here we're sitting right at 3 inches, which is okay. 4 inches make the splitter live longer. 3 inches means it'll work really well. So it's up to you to get your ride height set. And that's our finished product right there. Big old splitter on the front of the S550 or S197. Now this is something that isn't going to come with the kit. It is something that will be available. These are splitter rods. We did notice that this kit needed 3 of these splitter rods, and people told us to not include it in the price to keep the price low. But if you wanted to add these onto your car, these are pretty easy little things to add on to make the splitter a lot stiffer. Other than that, that's our install. And if you got any questions, give us a shout. Thanks.